What's up, guys? This is Zander Bennett here to talk about the Buzzwole Lycanroc deck that I am going to be used or already have used against Eric playing Gardevoir in this new video that we are trying out. This is a new expanded environment with Forbidden Light, and I think that Buzzwole Lycanroc is definitely the biggest talk of the town coming into this tournament, just gaining so many new cards. And I was really excited to test this deck out. I've done a lot of testing with it. It is in my top 2 decks for the tournament, and this is very close to the list that I would be playing, with a few changes that I might mention as we go through. Obviously, your main attacker is Buzzwole. I cut more of the tech cards out of the list, like the Landorus and the Zygarde, which I'm regretting a little bit, but I believe that the synergies with Beast Ring are just too powerful not to be very focused on Buzzwole. Just 3 very powerful attacks, as you can see on the card. Just it's a powerhouse in Standard, and the deck has already proven to do well in Expanded, except with the addition of Beast Ring, I just see it being even more viable. You also have your Lycanroc just as another consistent attacker, just great in so many variety of situations, being able to Dangerous Rogue and just essentially knock out anything on the board is just so strong. Outside of the cards we normally see in Standard, just some newer stuff. First, this Baby Buzzwole is phenomenal. Both attacks are actually pretty decent. The first attack, if they have exactly 4 prizes left, you do 90 more damage, so this is 120, which will knock out a Zander GX, but also with things like Strong Energy and Diancie and Choice Band, you can hit some very high numbers with this attack. It is very good versus Drampigarb and versus Zoroark variants, just being able to have a 1 energy knock out anything on their board with a non-GX attacker. And then if it's not dealt with, Swing Around is actually pretty viable with a Beast Ring activation, just to knock out a Zoroark if they're not on exactly 4 prizes with a non-GX attacker. Beast Ring, this card that I've talked so much about, just the strongest card in the deck right now. You can only play it if your opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prizes. So after they've taken their first knockout or a knockout in a non-GX, you can search your deck for 2 basic energy and attach them to one of your Ultra Beasts, which until now, the fact that Buzzwole is an Ultra Beast has not mattered, but now it is highly relevant, as this card can just power up your attackers so quickly. Beast Energy is also, some lists play it as a 5th strong. I just replaced a strong and added it in. It's a way for Buzzwoles just to do 10 more damage than the Strong Energy. It is also important to note that it can still be attached to non-Ultra Beasts. It's not like the Strong Energy that cannot be attached to anything that's not a fighting type. So you can use Beast Ring on a Lycanroc if you just need another energy and you didn't hit another one. I guess the last card to talk about, just because it's expanded, some people might not be familiar with, is Karina. Karina just helps you establish your board so much, just getting a fighting type Pokemon, which is mostly everything in the deck except your auxiliary line, and then an item card, putting it into your hand, which mainly gets Beast Ring, but also tools that you need to get earlier knockouts. Some lists play Wide Lens. I decided to cut it. I feel like your other techs for the Zoroark matchup, like Buzzwole and just having Beast Ring to efficiently power out attackers, end up helping more than trying to be cheeky with that card, because unless you open with your 2 copies of Karina or Ultra Ball and another draw supporter, you're kind of stuck. The only card that I really want in this list is a Nest Ball. I end up using Karina as a fan club effect with just getting a fighting Pokemon and an Ultra Ball, and it feels really bad to get an Ultra Ball, so maybe cutting a Beast Ring. Some lists only play 2. 3 was just the count that I went to at first for a Nest Ball would be really effective. Oh, another card from the new set that I have yet to talk about, Diancie Prism Star. In short, it is a double Regirock, and it is very good. You obviously knock out Zoruas off the bat, but things like Trubbishes are very important to knock out with Buzzwole, because this list does not play those other attackers like Landorus and Zygarde, so we suffer a little bit versus Drampigarb, but just having very aggressive starts out of the gate with a Buzzwole can help a lot. Overall, I think this deck is super solid. Your matchup versus Zoroark is very close. I wouldn't say 50-50. I think it might be slightly favored to Buzzwole, just depending on certain cards. This list is not relatively unique. I would say that it's a safe Standard, but some lists have been opting to not run the Lycanroc line and just go very aggressive with Buzzwole and play Focus Sashes, as well as just other cards to help get your Buzzwole line out efficiently. But this is just the Buzzwole Lycanroc deck that has been doing well and expanded that I ported to play these newer cards. I definitely could see a quote Turbo Buzzwole build doing very well and expanded. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the matchup video. This is really fun to record, and I'm hoping that we do more content like this in the future. So yeah, let's check out the video. Thanks. All right, Eric and I recorded a few different matchups, so this is going to be a few of the matchups that we played. I seem to be going first this game with a rough start and a pretty decent hand, just able to get some basics down with Brooklet Hill and have an Ultra Ball to kind of get wherever I need in the meantime. I believe that with this hand, just playing Brooklet Hill to start off, searching your deck for important cards that are just helpful. I decided on getting the Remoraid. I just feel like it's really important just to help set up early. And then an attachment on the Rockruff means that I can either retreat it if I want to on my next turn, or since I have the Lycanroc in my hand, I can just go right out of the gate for a Dangerous Rogue on one of his Pokemon if I need to. Obviously, he's going to be trying to use Tapu Lele for Bridget, so that's kind of what I was thinking. But he does just have the quote-unquote natural Bridget in his hand. I'm going to search his deck for 3 Pokemon, and it's most likely just going to be 3 Raltses to put them down onto his board. He's just trying to get as many of those down as possible so that he can turn them into Gardevoirs, and he actually only searches for 2 Ralts. Believe that this was based off of things that he prized this game, but using Brooklet Hill to search his deck for a water or fighting type of his own, and he got a Alolan Vulpix to use Beacon to set up. In my hand, I do not have a way to put these Pokemon back, but the Lele gives me an opportunity to N if I want to, which seems better than just going for a Colress here. I'm gonna play the Ultra Ball first though, just to get some more Pokemon onto my board. And going for the Octillery here, this will give me an ability to dig with Buzzwole for a knockout. Retreating first, normally you want to retreat later on in your turn, but I wanted to play it on the Lycanroc just so I could draw an additional card off of the Abyssal hand. Having the Ultra Ball in my hand will let me search for a Diancie, and this hand is really good, and I really want to get the Diancie for the knockout, but it's really sad that I have to discard a Buzzwole and a Beast Ring in the process to do it. Those cards are very important to stop a swingy Gardevoir just from going out of control, just to take a really quick knockout back. But I go ahead and search for the Diancie. That means that if I hit a Fighting Energy, I have a knockout on this Ralts, and I can put 30 on the other Ralts and just get so much of a dominant board position. I do end up hitting the Fighting Energy as well as 2 Elixirs, and I believe that I go ahead and play those. I've discarded 1 Fighting Energy. That's what I was checking there, and might as well use them now just with the cards that I have in my hand. Got pretty lucky and hit both. Sadly, was not able to put them onto a Lycanroc, but able to power up a Buzzwole, just get it ready for the next thing. And Jet Punch will knock out the Ralts, doing 70 damage, putting 30 onto the other Ralts. And I am just in a great board spot here. We're going to have to see what Eric does next, but this is the starts and expanded that Buzzwole is capable of, just being able to destroy basics early on in the game. So Eric draws, looking to see what he does. Even a Rare Candy and a Gardevoir would not be that scary. I believe that was a Brooklet Hill activation, looking through his deck just to see what all he has in there. Going through his discard pile, he also did not have a lot of options. He had a Ralts down. He has a lot of cards in his hand, so it could be scary thinking what he could do, but he has a Rare Candy, so that's a start. Going for a Gardevoir GX. There's a Secret Spring. Putting the Secret Spring onto the Gardevoir means that he probably doesn't have Max Potion, which is very relevant for plays with the other Buzzwole GX that I have on my board. But with what I have in my hand, I don't think I'm going to be taking a knockout on this Gardevoir GX anyway as of right now. He does have to bench a Tapu Lele GX, and with the Guzma and the Fighting Energy that I have in my hand, that is probably going to be a very quick knockout that I can take and not have to worry about dealing with this Gardevoir right now, just because it isn't as threatening, and I can just keep going ahead on prizes. Even if he does take a knockout on the Buzzwole, if I use to kill this Lele with a Guzma, I have the Beast Ring in my hand ready to go, and that will help me knock out this Gardevoir. So he's still searching with this Tapu Lele. Eric and I were talking while this video was going on, just because not only is it content, but it's also testing for us. So I feel like we were just discussing what he should possibly get off of this this Wonder Tag. He searches, gets a Teammates. Just because he prized so many Ralts, he really needs to get these Ralts back on his board. One thing that we discussed while this was happening, which I believe is why that took so long, is Diantha. If it knocks out a Fairy type Ralt, you can, or if an attack knocks out a Fairy type Ralt, you can use Diantha to get 2 cards back from your discard pile, which he does run a Diantha, but because he had the Psychic type Ralts, he was unable to do that. So that's one thing that we've discussed about which one is correct coming forward. But here's a DCE and an Infinite Force for 120 damage. So this Buzzwole's not dead. It will be knocked out on its next hit. And with the draw that I have, I believe that right now it's just the time to Guzma knock out the Lele. I don't really care if this Buzzwole dies. He has no way to respond after the Gardevoir is dealt with, and the Beast Ring will make my life much easier. So there's a Guzma on the Lele, switching it with the Buzzwole GX, and then Abyssal Hand for 2 just helps to keep my hand refreshed. Computer Search, having that as an option for future turns, will make my life super easy, and I use Absorption GX there just because I have no energies on the Lycanroc and no elixirs to power it up, so I'm going to need every attachment that I can get for the rest of the game at this point. Also, if he attaches a Fairy to this Gardevoir and goes for the knockout, he again is at 200 still, which makes Knuckle Impact a much easier knockout for me to get. And that will allow me to attach to the Lycanroc just to set it up. So there's a VS Seeker going for that Teammates again. He just is so far behind. He really needs to be kind of drawing more cards and helping set up. And prizing some Ralts did not help him. But there's a Ralt and a Choice Band, and that will allow him to Infinite Force for this knockout. But with Computer Search and a Beast Ring in hand, I am not worried about responding to this Gardevoir whatsoever. And drawing the Strong Energy helps me even more. That will give me the guaranteed knockout, unless I would rather Computer Search for a Muscle Band. Having 2 Fighting Energy in my deck is rather convenient for that last Beast Ring. And benching the Rockruff here just in case I need to use Bloodthirsty Eyes one last time. Computer Search here will get the Muscle Band that I need so that I can do 200 damage. And at first I was worried, but I remembered that tools are at the back of the trainer section instead of with the items. But we found the Muscle Band that we need and attached to the Lycanroc GX and Abyssal Hand for 3 cards. So the deck is firing off at all cylinders, doing everything that I need it to. And with a Guzma and a Strong Energy in my hand, Lycanroc will be able to do whatever, which is... Oh, and the turn that I used... that I thought that I used Absorption GX, I guess I just used Knuckle Impact. I probably just saw that too quickly. But still have my GX attack means that Dangerous Rogue with this Guzma will be able to finish up the game for me. So I am super confident. My bad on that analysis, just thinking that I used the other attack. But this game just does a great job demonstrating the strengths of Buzzwole and Expand and why so many people are talking about it. Beast Ring just allowed me to get that knockout out of nowhere, where if that Gardevoir powered up, I would not have been able to do so before Forbidden Light came out. There's a Tapu Lele GX. This will most likely be going for an N, but unsure if it even matters at this point because I have Octillery to set up my board and draw till I have 5 cards to maybe hit the combination that I need to get a knockout with this Buzzwole or Lycanroc. So goes for the N, which he's gonna need, and plays it. The combination of cards that I need to win this game are Fighting Energy of Sort and a Guzma, or at least, no, Lycanroc GX will not do it because I used Knuckle Impact last turn. He plays an Ultra Ball, goes for the Oranguru, which he's going to need to hit Rare Candy and Gardevoir, or Rare Candy and something off of this so that this Ralts does not get knocked out for the game, and he does not. So I draw, hit a Brooklet Hill, and going to Abyssal Hand for 4 cards just to see if I get what I need off of it. And we did get a Guzma and a Fighting Energy. So we are going to Guzma the Tapu Lele GX and use Dangerous Rogue for a whopping 290 damage with the Strong Energy and the Diancie. So that's game 1. This is game 2. Eric will be going first after losing that game. And looking at our opening hand, we actually have a pretty good opening hand. Diancie is not the worst starter in the deck, especially in a matchup like this where there's not a lot of early pressure. But I do choose to start with the Remoraid, just thinking that if I'm going to put a Floatstone on something, I probably am going to want it more on the Octillery than on the Diancie. He does Mulligan, which will help us because our hand doesn't do a whole lot. But we do have the ability with the Beast Energy to knock out Ralts as early as this first turn, even if I didn't have the Diancie, which is important to know. Just having 60 HP, the Beast Energy, and the Jet Punch doing 30 damage would help a lot. Top decking a Buzzwole, actually very nice for helping me set up in this game. And let's see what Eric does. He benches a Sudowoodo, which will limit my bench, as well as a Vulpix and a Colress for 4. So really not that great, but with some luck, he does draw another Ralts, and we're going to see if he retreats to the Vulpix or if he keeps it active. Looking at the Beast Energy that I have in my hand, and he decides to leave the Ralts active, and I just get to go crazy with a Guzma on the Ralts and the Beast Energy to knock it out. Beast Energy actually starts to show up as a Dark Energy whenever you attach it, which is kind of funny if you saw that. But Brooklet Hill going back on topic will allow me to get a Rockruff to just continue to decimate the board, knocking out the active Ralts, doing 80 damage and then 30 onto the bench Ralts. And getting the Lycanroc out of the prizes is very nice, so that if his random Max Potion or comes down, or if he benches another Ralts, I can be able to knock out both of them in one turn. He is going to most likely promote Vulpix here, just in an attempt to beacon and set up, but no, he decides to promote the Ralts, so maybe he has an attacking option already lined up in his hand. My hand is kind of dead. The Lycanroc gives it a little bit of game, but we'll have to see what I draw here. A Rare Candy and a Gardevoir could be scary, and there is a Wonder Tag. We will see what he searches for, and he decides to get a Sycamore, so he's going to discard his hand of 0 and draw 7 cards. I gave him an imaginary high five over the phone, and Eric really needs to hit some Ralts here, which he does. The worst case scenario is that if I don't draw anything, which I drew an Ultra Ball, so that's very nice, I can use Lycanroc to Bloodthirsty Eyes and bring up the Ralts and just continue to keep him off of lots of evolutions, which that is what I end up doing. In an Ultra Ball, discarding these last 2 cards will get me the Octillery, so did get a little bit lucky top decking out of it, but Buzzwole does have a fair amount of outs to supporters, and an Abyssal Hand for 5 will continue to let me establish and set up. This hand is also not that great, and I don't really want to discard anything from it, so I believe that I just sit on this hand, and nope. Going to Ultra Ball, discarding the Max Elixir and the Fighting, and that will get me another Rockruff, just because I have the Lycanroc in my hand, so that will let me still do something after this Buzzwole maybe gets knocked out, or if I don't hit a supporter for next turn. So now I am down to 4 prizes, and I luckily get a Colress off the prizes, but with the Abyssal Hand, I don't know how relevant it would have been. A scary card would be the Max Potions in his deck. To see, I would not be able to deal with that, but he does VS Seeker for Colress, and he plays it, shuffling his hand into his deck and drawing 7 cards. Let's see what all he can do off of this. Another Ralts would be really good for him, or a Super Rod in some way to get it back out of the deck. I don't think he is satisfied with his options because he's not immediately putting anything down on the table. He needs a double colorless and a fairy or choice band to knock me out, some way to do an additional 90 damage. But there is an Ultra Ball for the 4th Ralts and a Seeker Spring onto the active, so if he has a double colorless, this Gardevoir would be knocked out, but it would be immediately dealt with by a Dangerous Rogue GX. And he does get the knockout here, puts me in Beast Ring range, and Lycanroc gets sent up. And this is just going to be a phenomenal turn for me, attaching the Fighting Energy to the active. Most likely going to Abyssal Hand for 2, just because Colress is going to be drawing me more than 5 cards, and I don't know how many of them will be able to play down. But just going to go ahead and play the Colress, see what happens. Looking to draw Buzzwole and Beast Ring in some combination, and we completely whiffed. Brook the Hill, though, will get me a Buzzwole, and I don't think that there's any way that he can knock out this Lycanroc this turn, or take 2 prizes, so I will still be in Beast Ring range for the next turn, having Guzma and Karina give me plenty of options for whatever I need to do. And off of that, we hit the Max Elixir and the Strong Energy. The Max Elixir probably not so relevant at this point, taking a few Fighting Energy out of my deck, and I have a few in my hand. But the most relevant card being the Strong to help with certain knockout math, and just having this fully powered up Lycanroc GX. A relevant piece of math with this deck is Strong Energy with a Muscle Band and a Diancie knocks out a Tapu Lele GX. So that is another way that I could take the knockout. But he does get a Rare Candy Gardevoir, talking about his turn. And plays a Super Rod, shuffling back in a Ralts and 2 League Promo Fighting Fairy Energies, which I did not know existed on PTCGO, so that's pretty exciting. There's a Versus Seeker, definitely going for an end, putting me down to 2 cards. Will make it harder for me to hit whatever I need to win the game. There's a Fighting Energy, though. Will not be doing that much good for me. And with the draw that he's having right now, I'm definitely going to have this upcoming turn to use things like Beast Ring. They're going to help out very much in establishing a setup for the rest of the game. Just checking through his discard pile to see what all he has. I'm really not too worried about anything from his side. I feel like I'm in a very commanding lead, especially with this Lycanroc staying alive. And he uses Infinite Force for 90 damage. So a Choice Band or another energy would knock out this Lycanroc. I do hit the Strong Energy, so what I'm debating here is if I want to go for that knockout on the Tapu Lele GX plan. And there's an Abyssal Hand for 3 after attaching the Strong to the active, and we'll see if I get it. And I get the Muscle Band and a Guzma, but I do not have a way to get my Lycanroc GX back in the active. So I have a curious decision to make about what I want to do. I'm going to play the Guzma to bring up a Oranguru, and I cannot knock out the Oranguru this turn. It is a complete misplay, me attaching this Muscle Band to the active. I was thinking that I would need it to knock out the Oranguru with certain math, but now that I've attached this Muscle Band to the active, it's one less Muscle Band that I'm going to have to knock out this Tapu Lele GX, especially since I drew the Guzma off of the end to 2. So really a completely irrelevant and not helpful play that I've made. Also does not make Karina a live draw for game. So this was definitely something I should have been more thoughtful over, of establishing what my win condition would have been and how I could properly achieve that. He does retreat to the Gardevoir and uses Infinite Force for 60 damage. And now I have a choice between using Guzma on the Lele and Colress. I do choose to use Guzma and just see if I can hit the last Muscle Band or Choice Band in my deck, and I again do not. So luckily now that it is active, I can get 150 damage on it, which will let me Jet Punch it on the bench for a knockout as a way to have a win condition. But this is a scary spot where if, since I have not hit a Beast Ring, if he knocks me out, this Buzzwole will probably not be able to do it if he finds his singular copy of Max Potion to heal the Tapu Lele. Looking through my discard pile to see what options I have left as well. I've given Eric a window to do something and possibly win this game, but there's an Ultra Ball for a Tapu Lele GX. We're going to see what he gets with the Tapu Lele. And I believe it is at this point that he has no draw supporters left in his deck. He has used every draw supporter that he has in his list. So yeah, this is me checking for it. He has a 2Ns, a Colress, and a Sycamore. So he has no way to efficiently draw cards off of this Tapu Lele GX. And without a Versus Seeker in hand, he might be very well stuck, not able to do much about the damage that is put on this Tapu Lele GX. So now he's thinking about what his plans are. He can still instruct for 2, but that feels very bad in the face of just a simple Jet Punch knocking out this Tapu Lele GX. So there's a Secret Spring. This is good because this Tapu Lele will need to be on the bench and instruct for 3 cards. Let's see what he gets. Nothing was knocked out on the last turn, so teammates or Diantha will not be helpful draws with his list. And he does retreat and Infinite Force, so he does not have the Max Potion, does not have a draw supporter, and Buzzwole will simply be getting game with using Jet Punch to do the 30 onto the bench, and that will be the match. 2-0 in my favor. I do just think this matchup overall is very favored for Buzzwole, just having so much early aggression, and now Beast Ring makes it very easy to equally compete with the power of Secret Spring and the crazy damage that Gardevoir can do. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to check out our Facebook, Instagram, and our Patreon. We love our Patreon subs. They help us do everything that we can for this channel. And if you are going to be in Roanoke this weekend, be sure to look out for Eric and myself. Kenneth will not be able to make it, but we are really excited to meet you guys. Be sure to be on the lookout for our Rare Candy mats. That'll help you find us. But once again, thank you guys for watching this video, and see you later.